Hello, I'm Hilary Stevenson and I work for the Lmc, which stands for Livestock and Meat Commission. We go out to do lots of cookery demonstrations in schools and in retail settings, and we do around 375 cookery demonstrations in the year, so we're kept very busy. The reason we educate our young people is to ensure that they are aware of the Northern Ireland Beef and Lamb Farm Quality Assured Scheme. What we're going to look at today is the importance of including beef and lamb as part of a healthy, balanced diet. We are also telling people the importance of looking for the Farm Quality Assured logo when purchasing beef and lamb, and what our farmers are doing here in Northern Ireland to improve the environment around us. The Northern Ireland Beef and Lamb Farm Quality Assurance Scheme was established in 1992 and is one of the longest running assurance schemes in the world. There are 12,000 farmers in Northern Ireland who are members of this scheme. They are meeting the highest standards for food safety, animal welfare and care for the environment. You may have seen this logo on packets of beef and lamb in supermarkets. When you do, you know that is the best quality beef and lamb you can buy, and it gives full assurance of farm to fork traceability. Traceability is the shared responsibility of all stages of the supply chain. These standards must be adhered to right from the farm, to the transport, to the processing and to the retailers. All members are inspected regularly to make sure they are meeting these standards at all times. Today we're going to be using rump steaks, and if you can look at the packaging, you can see where the Farm Quality Assured logo is on the labelling. And today I'm going to be cooking honey chili beef rice bowls, a lovely, quick and tasty recipe. We're going to start by preparing vegetables, and I'm going to start with a red pepper. And when I'm preparing a pepper, I just top and tail the pepper. And if you grip the pepper using the claw, that means you have control of the vegetable and you're not at risk of cutting yourself. I then just slide my knife in round the inside of the pepper and remove the seeds. Then, using your hand to make a bridge and a sharp knife, just cut down the centre of the pepper, and you can trim the white parts that you don't need, and then we're ready to slice our pepper. Or you can just set it up like this and trim down. And what I normally do is I just cut them into even-sized pieces, again keeping your hand like a bridge, and that way you ensure you do not cut yourself or cut your finger. And you can slice close to your finger because you keep your thumb behind your fingers, and there you have finely chopped pepper. And you just continue that with the rest of your vegetable. Care for the environment is an important part of the Farm Quality Assurance Scheme, and our farmers are proud custodians of the countryside. All food comes with a carbon footprint, and beef is no exception to this. However, local beef and lamb has the benefit of low food miles. Here in Northern Ireland, we're surrounded by beautiful green fields, and it's a perfect environment for growing grass to feed our animals. One football pitch-sized piece of grassland sequesters the same amount of carbon as a car produces in a full year. Just think how much grassland around us is absorbing carbon every day. Eco-conscious farming techniques and advances in technology are helping our farmers to tackle climate change head-on. I'm now going to start preparing the rump steak. And for this, I'm just using a pair of scissors to cut around the packaging and remove the steak. Rump steak is a lovely tender cut of beef and very good for a stir fry or even just to fry as a steak on its own. What I'm going to do is lift this out, set it onto my board. It's very important that we have separate boards for meat, raw meat and cooked meats and cooked foods, because you don't want to have any cross-contamination. You'll notice there's quite a bit of fat around the outside of the meat or the beef, and I just trim this off and put that to one side. Meat is a very good source of iron. Meat is a high biological value protein, which means it contains all the essential amino acids essential for health. It's also a very rich source of B vitamins and also an excellent source of heme iron. And heme iron is extremely important for a healthy blood system and also to prevent anemia. You can see I'm just trimming off the excess fat. We need a little bit of fat on the meat just to give it flavour and to help digestion, and I'm just cutting it into very thin strips, and that way the meat is going to cook nice and quickly and will keep its nice soft texture. And you must make sure you have them all the same thickness. They'll obviously not be all the same length, but as long as they're the same thickness, they'll cook evenly. This is a very simple recipe. It's a lovely recipe for the weekend if you don't want to spend money on a takeaway. I would call this more a healthy takeaway, or what we refer to as a fakeaway. And it's so easily prepared and so quickly prepared. All our recipes online or in our booklets are quick and easy and very nutritious and healthy. So if you're using rump steak as a whole steak, you can just grill it under the grill. You could brush it with oil on both sides, sprinkle a little salt and pepper on the sides and fry it in the pan in a little oil. And it's lovely just to sit down with a freshly prepared steak. You can even make your own accompanying butter, flavoured butter. You could have garlic butter, you could make a pepper sauce. You can do so much with a piece of meat, and people forget sometimes. We get so stuck in our ways, we've got so used to getting carry-outs, we've got processed foods readily available, all the cooking has been done for us, and these are lovely fresh recipes using fresh ingredients. Knowing exactly where all your ingredients, especially your meat, is coming from is very, very important. And that way you are not having food that's full of additives, full of saturated fats that harm our health, lead to coronary heart disease, obesity, diabetes, which is prevalent in our country at the minute. And if people would just remember how to cook fresh ingredients, they can produce lovely, flavoursome food at home. And it's a lot cheaper than buying takeaways or buying food that's already prepared. Now I'm going to put our prepared beef into some corn flour. Corn flour gives it a nice, more crisp coating than ordinary flour. Sometimes when you put it into ordinary flour, it can become very sticky and a bit heavy. This gives it a much lighter finish, and it's very flavoursome as well. So just make sure you put all your meat in and cover it with your corn flour. It's a bit of a messy job, but the end result is really tasty, so it's worth it. And then once you have got all your beef coated, I have already put some olive oil into the wok and heated that up. It's important you have a nice hot pan so you can seal the meat immediately. And this is only going to take 3 minutes or so to cook because it's so finely cut. Make sure your fat is hot. I'm using oil, and because it's a vegetable oil and it doesn't contain the saturated fats that we were talking about earlier, and it's much healthier. So just pop that into the wok. Just shake the excess corn flour off, and you will at this stage need to maybe add a little bit more oil to your pan because some of it is absorbed into the corn flour. And once that's all in, then I need to now wash my hands after using raw meat again. I have a clean bowl here that I am going to put the cooked beef into once it is ready. And it's just a matter of moving it around the wok until all the meat is cooked through. It's a very quick recipe. Most of our recipes that are on the Food for Life website or in our recipe books are made with fresh ingredients. They're so quick, they're very easy, and they are full of flavour. Sometimes people say to me, I got a sirloin steak and I cut it up for stir fry, but the meat was so tough I could hardly eat it. And I would then ask them, well, how long did you cook it for? And they tell me, well, maybe 15 or 20 minutes. That's far too long to cook your meat. You only need to cook thinly cut meat for stir fries or for this nice simple sweet chili beef recipe for literally 3 to 5 minutes at the most. And then the texture doesn't change. You've got the nice soft meat. If you overcook it, the connective tissue starts to shrink, producing tough meat, and it's not very pleasant to eat. So just moving your meat around, making sure it doesn't stick to each other or to the bottom of the pan. You will get little bits that will stick, but those contain the flavour as well, and that will all be included in the finished dish. Now, all our meat is cooked, and you can see from my pan that we have a little bit of residue in the bottom of the pan. That is going to be used with our sauce and produce the lovely flavours of the meat caramelised in the pan. So nothing is wasted in this dish. And I've just put the meat into a nice bowl, a nice clean bowl, and then we're ready to make the sauce and add the other ingredients. So we're now ready to add the rest of our ingredients. I've put about a teaspoonful of oil into the wok, and I'm now going to add the onion and crushed garlic. I have this already prepared, and I'm just going to pop that in, and we're going to give that just a couple of minutes to take the rawness off the onion and the garlic. It doesn't need much cooking at all. We don't want to overcook it because we want the nice sweet flavours that come out of onion and garlic. I'll just turn the heat up a little bit, and again, it's just moving it round your pan to ensure even cooking. Sometimes I use red onions. It depends really what I have in the house. But red onions are sweeter than white onions, but it really doesn't make an awful lot of difference. And all these recipes that we have, you can adapt them to what way you like them. If there's an ingredient in them that you don't like, well then don't put it in, but think of something alternative that you could put in. If you like spicy food, you can make it very spicy. Or if you're like me and you don't like it too hot, well then you can reduce the spice that you add. So our onion is cooked, and Now we're ready to add the rest of the ingredients. I'm just going to lift this off the heat for 1 minute to explain to you what I'm going to be adding in next. We were talking about the importance of heme iron when we were preparing the beef. Heme iron is very, very important in the diet. And for you to be able to get the benefit of heme iron absorbed into your bloodstream, you need vitamin C. And where better to get vitamin C than fresh vegetables? So I'm going to add extra vegetables to this dish. It's a little bit different to the recipe in the recipe book, but the more vegetables you add, the more colour you will get, the more nutrition you will get because of the vitamin C, and then it'll have different textures as well. So I'm adding an orange pepper and a red pepper, which I have just chopped into slices, and I'm going to put these in with the onion and the garlic. And I've also got a variety of baby vegetables here. I've got some baby sweet corn, which I have already chopped into little pieces. It's important that you keep your vegetables all the same size so that they cook evenly. I've also got some mange 2 peas, and again, just cut those into little bits. And then I have some tiny little florets of broccoli. You don't have to put these vegetables in. Any vegetables even that you have left over in the house, you can add those in. If you don't have fresh vegetables that you can use, if you've a bag of frozen vegetables in the freezer, you could put a good handful of those in. And adding any vegetables to a meat dish then means you will get the most nutrition out of it, because you will have your protein, you will have your heme iron, you will have your B vitamins, and also you have a good source of zinc as well. All the nutrients that you need in your daily diet. So all we need to do is to just toss these around. We don't want to lose the structure of the vegetables. We want to keep them nice and crisp. We don't want to lose the colour. We want that lovely rainbow of colour. And we do, vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, which means it will leak out when it's cooking, but you're going to be cooking this dish, or you're going to be eating this dish with the sauce, so you're not going to miss out on your vitamin C. And if you think of all the vegetables we have that are available to us, there's any number of vegetables that you can put into this. And at this stage then, I'm going to put the meat back in. Now, all our ingredients are basically cooked, so we don't want to overcook the meat, and it's just a matter of making sure that the dish itself is at the correct temperature. So we've got all our ingredients, our vegetables and our meat, and you can see from my pan how colourful this dish actually looks. Look at all the colours in this dish. How beautiful is that? And I'm using 4 simple ingredients. First of all, we're going to add in some sweet chili sauce. We're using some tomato ketchup, using soy sauce, and lastly some honey. I have used the low salt and low sugar ketchup. That way you're cutting down on the amount of salt and sugar that you're putting into your diet, which ready-made food and takeaways are full of. Soy sauce contains a high percentage of salt, so I'm using light soy sauce where some of the salt has been taken out of it, making it that little bit healthier. So you can find ways of cutting down on the amount of salt and sugar and saturated fats that people are eating. This is such a simple little dish to do. So first of all, I'm going to add in our sweet chili sauce. Next, I'm going to add in the tomato ketchup. And these are ingredients that you would have probably in the house already. And if you do go out to buy them, you're going to be using them. Soy sauce. And lastly, honey, which gives it that lovely sweetness. And then all you need to do is to mix your sauce ingredients with your meat and vegetables. There you have it, a Northern Ireland farm quality assured honey chili beef, a perfectly balanced meal.